Kind of lopsided today.
They're stragglers.
Not really. Every seat but one's full over here.
Slackers on this.
You can see what side they pick. They know.
Possible. Possible.
I mean, did I lie?
Yeah.
All right. What's wrong with Christian Kirk?
Just has a mild calf injury right now that we're just going to precautionary and just hold him out.
How did you think it went yesterday?
Yeah, I thought it went well. Good competition out there. It was a lot of plays when you think about it. I think we had 90 plus reps on both sides. So you're playing maybe a game and a half of practice, but it was good. Again, great competition. It was good to go against another opponent. Todd does a great job of coaching his players, obviously, and it was good.
Have you decided how many players you're going to hold out on Saturday?
Not yet. Get through today, check with Ferg, medical staff, and again, be cautious with some guys, right now that might be banged up, but probably finalize that tomorrow or, maybe even Saturday morning.
Do you have any?
Well, right now, Trevor, with getting all the reps here, he won't go, and so it'll be Mac and CJ will get, they'll split a half a piece.
Do you have a timeline on Christian, or it's just kind of day to day?
It's kind of day to day. We'll get through this game, get to next week. We break camp after this game and get into more of a normal, kind of an in-season type schedule. So with more rest on it, and we'll see where he is for Atlanta.
Anybody else yesterday come out of practice? Any sort of injuries?
No. DT might be the only one today you won't see out there. He kind of has the foot, the little heel issue that he banged about a week ago. He's fine. We're just going to kind of, again, precautionary and just kind of hold him out today. Other than that, everybody should be good and working.
What do you think about how the offensive line did yesterday?
Thought they did some good things. You watched the one-on-one pass rush. I thought we did good there. Vea is a big, strong, powerful human being, and but that's good for us. It's good for Mitch and the guys to go against, and thought we did some good things. Now it's a unique scheme. We haven't seen it for a year. Obviously, it's the same one that we had here, and so some of the pressure. And again, we're not. You got to understand too, we're not game planning or scheming anything. It's just what we're going against and kind of using our rules. But I thought overall they did some good things.
Doug, you've had the opportunity to go against Todd Bowles and his defense. What makes that defense such a challenge? What makes him such a good play caller?
It's a versatile defense in the sense that you can mix fronts. You can play with more linebackers, less D linemen, and vice versa. Pressures, disguises. He does a great job of that. He just go back to our game last year and some of the things that he did, and that's what makes it a challenge. Because what he shows you maybe the week before is not necessarily what you're going to see in your game. And he does a great job at that.
Have you seen Brian Thomas Jr. take some steps forward over the course of the game?
We have. He's been doing a really nice job, and it showed up, a couple plays in the game last week and then, this week in practice, and he continues to grow and just he and Trevor keep talking and working, and then that's what it's going to take, not going to be a finished product right away, but if he continues to improve and just, learn with the offense, grow with the offense, but he's been doing a really good job.
You guys added 7 guys in the back end, secondary, with 6 or more years of experience. Was that a concerted effort to get older and more experienced back there?
Well, I think some of it is, I don't want to say you look to get older because you're trying to look to get younger. I think with some of the injuries and the situations now with Dewey, being out right now and just and where Darnell is, he's not in that contact mode yet. It's precautionary. So you're trying to fill in some pieces there. And these guys have, a lot of years, veteran experience, and it's it's always good to see, where a guy is, and really add some more depth to that roster.
Is there something about the way Ryan's defense is set up with press corners that experienced, knowledgeable safeties are maybe much more needed, maybe?
Well, I mean, there's always, if you're asking about maybe the communication piece back there, or those guys have seen more football, obviously, but I still like too Antonio Johnson back there. I mean, when Daniel Thomas, when he's been in there, he's been doing a nice job. Obviously, Cisco's in a great place. I think, Eric Hallett's made some strides, this year, and of course, then Josh Proctor's kind of moving around a little bit. But you still got to try to keep, a 90-man roster healthy through training camp, and that's a challenge.
What strides has movement made for you throughout training camp and his development?
Yeah, he's another one that's been a bright spot. He's really, I think, challenged himself to learn the defense. A little bit of a different role, but he's really embraced it. And he showed up in the game when he played and made some nice plays last week. And he just continues to really impress. And then on special teams too, he's an added contributor there. So he's been doing a really nice job.
Since you brought him up, Josh Proctor moved to linebacker. Is that an experiment, or is that something you guys are rolling?
It's just something we're going to look at. He's a bigger body. He's a physical kid. And so we're just experimenting, with just kind of seeing if he can handle that load in there, as well as playing the back end.
Doug, of the young corners, is it fair to say Braswell and Brown have kind of emerged there?
Yeah, both guys. Monteric, I think last year playing gave him confidence going into this year, and he's competed well. Christian, he battled through some injury last year, IR kind of most of the season, if not all of it, I think, and really kind of came out this year. I think something to prove, and he's done that. He's done a nice job, this year. And so those two have really taken the steps you want to see, and I think, too, it's a credit to, Chris and Corey coaching everybody back there and getting everybody, equal time, and it's been good for both of them.
Will Eric Armstead go today?
No.
He can't go, right? From an acclimation point?
Yeah, no, he can't, but, he won't go for, I don't need him to go. I mean, you might want him to go, but I don't need him to go. I know what he can do.
Do you need him to go next week? Do you want him to go next week?
I mean, if you could get a few snaps, possibly, but that's not a concern right now.
Doug, every year you hear coaches, as you get toward the end of camp, talk about how the cuts are going to be difficult and tough. But when you think back here, and even maybe so in Philadelphia, where will the difficulty of the cuts rank for you this year?
I mean, I can think of a couple of positions. I think there's some really good battles going on the defensive line, offensive line as well. With some of the young guys that are emerging, and it's not. Again, you want them to make your 53, but you also would love to get them back on practice squad if possible. So there's always that fine line. I think the secondary, as we mentioned, is another spot. It's just. It's good and bad, because there's the potential of losing good football players. But if you lose good players, that means you've got good players already on your roster. So it's a challenge, and it, trying to make all the pieces fit.
Fair to say this is probably going to be tougher than your first two here.
Yeah, by far.
Coach, I want to know if CJ or Mac have impressed you a little more than the other. Pretty good quarterback battle so far going on between both of them.
Yeah, I think it's been really close, honestly. The addition of Mac was great for that room. It was great for CJ. Both those guys have really embraced the challenge. We've been up front with both of them and explained exactly how camp was going to go, and really both of them I think are within 3 or 4 reps of having 50-50 split right down the middle. So it's been good. It's been good competition. And CJ's been a really positive influence on Mac, just learning the system too, and that's something you don't see when somebody's challenging for your spot, and you see that other player coach him up a little bit. That's encouraging and that's positive. But both guys have done a great job.
What's the plan for them this weekend? I know you said no Trevor. Who's going to start? Is there any plan in place so far?
Haven't decided who's going to start yet, but I know they're both try to get them both at least a half if I can.
What's the concern level with Ezra Cleveland in that left heel?
He battled through it yesterday. You probably saw him kind of hobbled a little bit, but he's fine. It's just sore, and it's different, than a game, but it's just gotta fight through it. But he's okay.
No consideration like shut him down for a week or so? Or?
No. We're just gonna be, it's precautionary, kind of limit his reps, throughout the course of the week, and see where he's at, for the game.
Was it good to see Christian not practicing yesterday? Was it good to see Parker? It seemed like he was real active, making plays. Did you think he did a pretty good job of stepping in for him?
Yeah, anytime you get a young player going against an NFL starting, secondary and defense, it's good to get a really good evaluation. Parker's done a great job. He's been a real bright spot for our offense this camp, and even for him and Devin really to kind of get these reps now are valuable.
Back to Ezra and that situation, does that create an opportunity? Does that create an opportunity for Cooper Hodges maybe to see a little bit more reps with the quote-unquote starters on the offensive line?
Yes.
Are you excited by that prospect after his performance on Saturday?
Yes.
Physicality is a word that I know press referenced yesterday for Cooper. That's something you guys wanted. What did you see in terms of that word from him on Saturday?
It's a great word.
He's a big man, as press said.
Yes, he is.
Doug, if I could, one more Buccaneer question.
Yeah.
Levante David, 34 years of age, still one. You've gone up against him a couple of times. What's your impression of this guy, and have you noticed any drop off?
I mean, just obviously a tremendous player, good leader, veteran presence, still playing at a high level, and I think that's what you want in players like that. Every roster is looking for guys that can do that, and it just gives your team confidence. He brings energy, brings leadership, and just somebody that I think as the season goes, you just lean on more and more, to get more out of your team.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.